Welcome to FlyEaglesFly News, where Eagles fans get the latest, fastest, and hottest updates. Hit subscribe and fly high with us. There's a storm brewing in Philadelphia, and it's not just the weather. It's the sound of cleats hitting the turf and helmets cracking as the Eagles lock in one of the most unexpected and electrifying moves of the season. Word has it that GRANDERSON, the Pro Bowl defensive end known for wrecking offensive lines and haunting quarterbacks, is on his way to don the midnight green. Fans are buzzing, rivals are panicking, and analysts are already rewriting their power rankings. The Eagles' front office, quiet for weeks, seems to have been playing chess while everyone else was still figuring out checkers. GRANDERSON isn't just a name. He's a force, a human battering ram with a relentless motor, and Philly knows exactly what that means: pressure, chaos, and a whole lot of sacks coming in hot. If this rumor sticks, the NFC East might just turn into a nightmare for every quarterback unlucky enough to face that defensive front. This isn't just another transaction. This feels like a statement move, one that screams the Eagles are done playing nice and ready to terrorize backfields again. It's wild to think how fast things can shift in this league. Just weeks ago, fans were debating whether the Eagles' defense had lost some of that nasty edge that defined their Super Bowl run. The talk shows were filled with concerns about depth, consistency, and pass rush fatigue. But this rumored GRANDERSON signing changes everything. Imagine pairing him alongside Haason Reddick and Josh Sweat, rotating through the line like a three-headed monster that never gets tired. The pressure packages, the stunt plays, the sheer speed off the edge. Offensive coordinators will need 2 nights of sleep just to game plan for one Sunday. And you know what this move really signals? Aggression. The kind of aggression that says Philly isn't content with being good. They want to be terrifying again. This is what the city lives for: the underdog mentality, the fight, the energy. If GRANDERSON really steps into that locker room, it's not just a signing. It's a spark, and you can feel the ignition already rumbling through the fan base. Now, here's where things get spicy. Sources close to the organization say this deal didn't just come out of nowhere. The Eagles had been sniffing around for a while, waiting for the right moment, and apparently, GRANDERSON's camp made it clear that he wanted to play for a contender, somewhere with real championship DNA. And who fits that description better than Philly? He's seen what this team can do when it's firing on all cylinders, and the idea of joining a defensive front that already commands respect must have been impossible to resist. There's also the fit. Jonathan Gannon's old scheme laid the groundwork, but the new defensive staff wants more versatility, more unpredictability. GRANDERSON is the prototype for that: explosive, smart, disciplined, but with that streak of mayhem every elite pass rusher needs. If this rumor checks out, it's not just about adding talent. It's about recalibrating identity. The Eagles' defense could go from good to generational with one pen stroke. And it's not just the fans going crazy about this. Around the league, insiders are already whispering that this move could trigger a ripple effect in free agency. Teams that thought they were safe might start scrambling, because once the Eagles re-establish dominance on the defensive front, it changes how everyone builds. Think about it. Offensive linemen will have nightmares. Quarterbacks will start feeling the ghosts of GRANDERSON before the snap, and coordinators will have to draw plays with the clock ticking twice as fast in their minds. That's the kind of psychological impact players like him bring. Remember what happened when Philly built that legendary defensive rotation a few years ago? This has that same energy, that same sense of inevitability. The message is clear. Philly wants control of the trenches again, and if this rumor is true, they just might get it. The NFC East might turn into a pressure cooker, and the Eagles will be the ones turning up the heat. Of course, there's another layer to this story that can't be ignored: the leadership aspect. GRANDERSON isn't just a stat sheet monster. He's a tone setter. In New Orleans, he grew from an undrafted free agent into a Pro Bowl name, leading by example, grinding through the noise, and earning every snap he played. Bringing that mentality into Philly's locker room could be the missing piece. It's easy to forget how valuable that kind of presence is until you see it in action: a veteran who demands accountability without saying much, who lets his work talk louder than any speech. Combine that with the fire already burning inside players like Jordan Davis and Nakobe Dean, and you've got a defensive unit that could become downright lethal. The culture in Philly thrives on toughness, grit, and defiance. GRANDERSON fits that mold perfectly. If the whispers are true, the Eagles didn't just add a weapon, they added a mindset. Still, we can't overlook how perfectly timed this rumor feels. The Eagles have been teetering on the edge of greatness again, just a few tweaks away from becoming unstoppable. Offensively, they've got firepower. Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, and Devonta Smith are lighting it up. But defensively, there's been this sense of almost dominant, almost complete. Adding Carl Granderson might be the bridge between almost and absolutely. And here's the thing about Philly. When they feel momentum building, it's contagious. The city buzzes differently, the fans roar louder, and suddenly the entire league feels the tremor. If this deal goes through, the NFC won't just have a problem, it'll have a crisis. Because when the Eagles start flying with a Pro Bowl beast on the edge, history tells us one thing. You either keep up, or you get buried. Now, imagine that first Sunday when Granderson steps onto the field in midnight green. The crowd at Lincoln Financial Field would lose its collective mind, the volume hitting that familiar earthquake level that only Philly can produce. You can almost see it, the smoke clearing during introductions, his name echoing through the stadium, the defense lining up with that cold, ruthless energy. That's the kind of moment that defines seasons. It's not just hype, it's belief manifesting in real time. Opposing quarterbacks will feel it before the first snap, the eyes, the noise, the inevitability of pressure closing in. This is what the Eagles do best. They turn energy into execution. Granderson, with his length, power, and precise technique, would fit right into that chaos. And you just know that defensive coordinator's whiteboard has been glowing all night, drawing up new blitz schemes, disguises, and matchups. Philly doesn't just chase talent, they weaponize it. With Granderson in the mix, the Eagles' defense won't just play fast, they'll play fearless. And in this league, fearlessness wins games before the whistle even blows. But let's not forget the psychological edge. Every great team knows that intimidation starts before the game begins. When an offense studies film of Granderson ripping through double teams, bending around tackles like physics doesn't apply, and forcing quarterbacks into bad throws, they start hesitating. That half-second hesitation, that's where turnovers are born. That's where defenses win. It's what Philly has been missing, a predator who hunts not just for sacks, but for chaos. Granderson brings that kind of energy. He thrives on momentum, and in Philadelphia, momentum is practically a religion. The fans feed it, the players amplify it, and before long it becomes unstoppable. What makes this rumor so juicy is how perfectly it fits the city's DNA. Philly doesn't want finesse, they want ferocity. They want defenders who hit hard enough to make the stadium shake. If this move becomes official, expect the entire defensive identity to shift. Expect swagger. Expect confidence. Expect that cold, calculated violence that defines championship-level football. The league better take notice, because Philly's defense might be waking up again, and when it does, it doesn't go back to sleep. Now, there's something poetic about this timing. Every championship-caliber team reaches a crossroads. Do you play it safe or make the bold move that changes everything? The Eagles seem to have chosen the latter. Think about it. Bringing in Granderson at this stage means more than just adding stats. It's a declaration of intent. It tells everyone, we're not waiting, we're taking. And the symbolism runs deep. Granderson's rise in New Orleans mirrored Philly's own story. Underrated beginnings, relentless drive, proving doubters wrong one game at a time. That's the Philly story to its core. This city rallies behind grinders, not golden boys. They want players who fought for every inch, every rep, every contract. Granderson embodies that perfectly. If this rumor solidifies, you can bet the locker room will feel it instantly. Because energy like his doesn't just stay on the line, it radiates through the roster. This could be the spark that reignites a championship run. The kind that fans talk about years later, saying, that was the moment everything changed. Philly's got that look again. The look of a team ready to make noise, and now maybe ready to make history. Of course, with every big rumor comes the wave of speculation about what this means for the rest of the roster. Some say it could push certain veterans into proving mode, while younger players might see it as an opportunity to learn from one of the best. That's the beauty of competition. It sharpens everyone. And the Eagles' coaching staff thrives on that philosophy. They don't hand out spots, they make you earn them. Granderson's arrival would elevate the standard instantly. Practices would get louder, hungrier, more physical. And for fans, that's music to their ears. Because this team, when pushed, becomes something primal. Every season has its defining pivot, and this one might be it. It's like the organization took a long look at the defensive tape, saw where the fire was dimming, and decided to pour gasoline on it. That's what this move represents, fuel. And the funny thing about Philly is that once the fire catches, it spreads fast. The locker room starts believing, the fans start roaring louder, and suddenly the whole league feels the temperature rising. FlyEaglesFly News family, smash subscribe and hit like. Your support keeps the freshest Philadelphia Eagles updates flying in. Drop your take in the comments, and let's talk birds. Financially, this rumor also raises eyebrows. The Eagles are known for being clever with their cap space, finding ways to make big moves without blowing up their budget. If they really pull this off, it would be another masterclass from the front office. The long-term vision is clear. Keep the core intact, stack the defense, and maintain flexibility. Granderson, at his age and prime, fits that puzzle perfectly. He's not just a short-term splash. He's a foundational piece. Someone you build around, not just rent for a season. And the value he brings goes beyond sacks. It's leadership, stability, and playoff readiness. Teams that win championships don't just rely on offensive fireworks. They rely on defenses that can crush momentum in a single series. That's exactly what this rumor hints at. The return of that cold-blooded, relentless Eagles defense that once made every Sunday feel like survival. If this front office pulls the trigger, it could be one of the smartest and most aggressive moves of the year. And that's what makes this whole situation so thrilling, because it's not official yet. It's still whispers, still messages exchanged between insiders, still a storm brewing behind closed doors. But in Philly, rumors like this don't stay quiet for long. You can feel the anticipation building in every corner of the city, from sports bars to radio stations to the fans refreshing their phones every 5 minutes. Everyone's waiting for that notification, that confirmation, that moment where potential becomes reality. And when it does, it's going to explode. Because this isn't just about a roster change. It's about pride. It's about hunger. It's about a team daring to be great again. The Eagles know what's at stake. They've seen the mountaintop, and they're clawing to get back. Granderson could be the piece that gets them there, the final jolt of electricity this defense needed. If this rumor turns true, Philly might just remind the league what fear really feels like. The strategic calculations involved in Carter's rumored departure extend far beyond immediate game plans, as executives, coaches, and scouts reportedly assess long-term implications for salary cap management, future draft picks, and overall team competitiveness. Trade possibilities are being modeled with meticulous attention to detail, evaluating which franchises could offer the optimal mix of assets, culture, and playing opportunities to entice Carter while minimizing disruption to the Eagles' own structure. Meanwhile, rumors suggest that Carter's agent has been quietly opening channels of communication with potential suitors, signaling interest while carefully navigating the optics of loyalty and market positioning, creating a chess-like scenario of negotiation, anticipation, and calculated messaging. The ripple effect of these negotiations is already evident, influencing public perception, fan engagement, media coverage, and even team morale, as players and coaches attempt to reconcile speculation with the immediate practicalities of preparing for upcoming games. Analysts predict that the situation could have ramifications well into the next season, affecting the drafting, trading, and development strategies of multiple franchises across the league, and potentially shifting competitive balance in key divisions. Social media continues to amplify every update, fueling debate, conspiracy theories, and speculative storytelling that transforms a single player's career decision into a near-epic saga. The Eagles are reportedly engaging in crisis management, emphasizing team unity, strategic flexibility, and public messaging, while simultaneously keeping private discussions ongoing to safeguard both the players' interests and the organization's stability. In essence, Carter's rumored exit has become a living, evolving narrative that intertwines personal ambition, team strategy, media dynamics, and fan culture, creating a story that feels as monumental as it is unpredictable. That's a wrap from FlyEaglesFly News. If you want the fastest Eagles updates, subscribe, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Sound off in the comments. Let's talk birds.